Wide receivers have always been some of the most exciting players in college football. From game-breaking speedsters to unstoppable physical forces, these athletes have defined eras and created unforgettable moments. Today, we're counting down the top 10 greatest college wide receivers of all time. These aren't just good players, they're legends who dominated Saturdays, rewrote record books, and left a legacy fans will never forget. Let's dive into the list. Peter Warrick was one of the most electric wide receivers in college football history, a player whose ability to change the game with the ball in his hands made him a nightmare for opposing defenses. Playing for Florida State from 1995 to 1999, Warrick's combination of quickness, agility, and creativity after the catch earned him a reputation as one of the most dangerous offensive weapons of the late 1990s. He wasn't the biggest receiver on the field, but he had the rare ability to make defenders miss in space, turn short passes into long gains, and deliver highlight reel plays in the biggest moments. During his career, Warrick accumulated 207 receptions, 3,517 receiving yards, and 32 touchdowns, placing him among the most productive receivers in ACC history at the time. But his impact went beyond just the stat sheet. Warrick was also a dynamic punt returner, giving Florida State an explosive special teams threat. Defenses had to account for him on every snap, whether he was lined up wide, in the slot, or fielding punts. Warrick's defining moment came in the 1999 Sugar Bowl, the national championship game against Virginia Tech. On the sport's biggest stage, he delivered a performance for the ages: 160 receiving yards, 3 total touchdowns, including a punt return TD, and countless clutch plays that helped Florida State capture the BCS title. That game cemented Warrick's legacy as one of the most clutch performers in college football history. While he was a consensus All-American in both 1998 and 1999, Warrick also faced adversity. A high-profile off-field incident in 1999 involving discounted clothing led to a suspension that hurt his Heisman campaign. Even with that setback, he finished his career as one of the most decorated players in FSU history and was drafted 4th overall in the 2000 NFL Draft. Peter Warrick may not have had the NFL career many expected, but his college days at Florida State remain legendary. He was the heart and soul of Bobby Bowden's Seminoles, a player who could swing momentum with a single play and one of the greatest college wide receivers of all time. When you talk about dominance at the college level, few wide receivers have a resume that compares to Justin Blackmon's. Playing at Oklahoma State from 2009 to 2011, Blackmon became one of the most productive and unstoppable wideouts in NCAA history. Standing 6 feet 1 inch with elite body control, strong hands, and deceptive speed, he was nearly impossible to cover one-on-one. What truly set Blackmon apart, though, was his ability to consistently perform at an elite level against any opponent. Blackmon's breakout season came in 2010 when he recorded 111 receptions, 1,782 yards, and 20 touchdowns in just 12 games. He led the nation in virtually every major receiving category and established himself as the go-to target in Mike Gundy's high-powered offense. For his efforts, he was awarded the Biletnikoff Award, given to the nation's top receiver. Rather than being a one-year wonder, Blackmon followed that season with another legendary campaign in 2011. He posted 122 catches, 1,522 yards, and 18 touchdowns, again taking home the Biletnikoff Award, becoming just the second player in history to win it twice. That season, he also helped Oklahoma State reach unprecedented heights as the Cowboys went 12-1, won the Fiesta Bowl, and finished ranked number 3 in the nation, the highest finish in school history. Blackmon's ability to dominate in big games was undeniable. In the 2012 Fiesta Bowl against Stanford, he put on one of the greatest performances ever by a college receiver, catching 8 passes for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. His explosiveness and physicality overwhelmed the Cardinal defense, and he earned Offensive MVP honors for the game. By the time he left Stillwater, Blackmon had accumulated 253 receptions, 3,564 yards, and 40 touchdowns in just 3 seasons. His back-to-back Biletnikoff Awards and record-setting production cement his status as one of the greatest college wideouts ever. Although his NFL career was derailed by off-field issues and never lived up to the hype, Blackmon's college legacy remains untouchable. In the history of the Big 12 and NCAA football overall, very few receivers have ever had a 2-year run like his. For Oklahoma State, he wasn't just the star, he was the player who put the Cowboys on the national map. DeVonta Smith's college career at Alabama is the definition of a storybook rise. From being the 4th receiver on Alabama's depth chart early in his career to becoming the first wide receiver to win the Heisman Trophy in nearly 3 decades, Smith carved out a legacy that places him among the greatest wideouts in NCAA history. Known as the Slim Reaper for his wiry frame and ability to take over games, Smith proved that skill, precision, and toughness could outweigh size. Smith first burst onto the national stage as a freshman in 2017 when he caught the game-winning touchdown pass from Tua Tagovailoa in overtime of the national championship against Georgia. That moment foreshadowed the clutch playmaker he would become. Over the next few seasons, Smith gradually elevated his role, emerging from a talented receiver room that included Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Jalen Waddle. By his senior year in 2020, Smith had transformed into the most dominant player in college football. With Waddle sidelined by injury, Smith became the focal point of Alabama's offense and responded with one of the greatest receiving seasons in NCAA history. He recorded 117 receptions, 1,856 yards, and 23 touchdowns, leading the nation in all 3 categories. His consistency and explosiveness earned him the Heisman Trophy, making him the first receiver since Desmond Howard in 1991 to win the award. His defining performance came in the 2021 National Championship game against Ohio State. In just over 2 quarters before leaving with an injury, Smith torched the Buckeyes for 12 receptions, 215 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His dominance was so complete that Alabama had effectively sealed the title by halftime. He was named Offensive MVP, capping one of the most iconic seasons in college football history. Smith finished his career with 235 catches, 3,965 yards, and 46 touchdowns, setting SEC records and cementing his status as one of the all-time greats. Despite being criticized for his slim build, he dominated the toughest competition in the country and proved that precision route running, hands, and football IQ could overcome any physical doubt. At Alabama, legends are built every year, but DeVonta Smith stands out. He wasn't just great, he was transcendent, delivering a season for the ages and forever etching his name into college football history. Michael Crabtree's college career at Texas Tech was nothing short of spectacular. A 2-year run of dominance that left defenses in the Big 12 scrambling for answers. Originally recruited as a quarterback, Crabtree transitioned to wide receiver, and the move turned him into one of the most unstoppable playmakers the college game has ever seen. With his size, athleticism, and uncanny ability to make contested catches, Crabtree embodied everything a coach could want in a go-to wideout. As a redshirt freshman in 2007, Crabtree immediately took the nation by storm. In his very first season, he recorded an astonishing 134 receptions, 1,962 yards, and 22 touchdowns, breaking multiple NCAA freshman records and setting a new standard for first-year receivers. His performance earned him the Biletnikoff Award, given to the best wide receiver in the country, and established him as the focal point of Texas Tech's high-octane passing offense. If 2007 was his arrival, then 2008 was his confirmation. Crabtree followed up with 97 catches, 1,165 yards, and 19 touchdowns, winning his 2nd consecutive Biletnikoff Award, making him only the 2nd player in history to claim the honor twice. His ability to deliver in big moments was legendary, and no moment was bigger than his game-winning touchdown against Texas that season. With just 1 second left on the clock, Crabtree caught a sideline pass, broke free from a defender, and raced into the end zone to seal the Red Raiders' upset victory over the top-ranked Longhorns. That play instantly became one of the most iconic highlights in college football history. In just 2 seasons as a starter, Crabtree put up 231 receptions, 3,127 yards, and 41 touchdowns. His combination of productivity and clutch performances made him one of the most decorated receivers in NCAA history, despite his relatively short career. Few players have ever matched his ability to consistently find the end zone, and he became the prototype for big-bodied receivers in spread offenses. Crabtree's time at Texas Tech not only elevated his own legacy, but also put the Red Raiders into the national spotlight. He proved that a receiver could completely change the course of games, seasons, and even rivalries. While his NFL career was solid, his college dominance was truly legendary. A 2-year stretch of brilliance that ensures his place among the greatest wideouts in college football history. When it comes to pure dominance, few college wide receivers can match the brilliance of Larry Fitzgerald during his 2 seasons at the University of Pittsburgh. Fitzgerald wasn't just a great wideout. He was a force of nature, blending size, strength, precise route running, and an almost magnetic ability to catch anything thrown in his direction. Even in an era loaded with offensive stars, Fitzgerald stood apart as one of the most complete receivers the game had ever seen. After redshirting in 2002, Fitzgerald exploded onto the scene in 2003, his sophomore year, and delivered one of the greatest seasons in college football history. That year, he recorded 92 receptions, 1,672 yards, and 22 touchdowns, leading the nation in receiving touchdowns and finishing near the top in every major receiving category. What set him apart wasn't just the numbers, but the way he dominated defenders, winning jump balls, out-muscling cornerbacks, and making circus catches look routine. Fitzgerald's 2003 season earned him the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver, and he finished as the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, narrowly missing out on becoming the first wideout since Tim Brown to win the award. He also earned unanimous All-American honors, solidifying his reputation as one of the most unstoppable weapons in the country. In just 2 years at Pitt, Fitzgerald amassed 161 receptions, 2,677 yards, and 34 touchdowns, shattering school records and redefining expectations for the wide receiver position. To put his dominance into perspective, he scored at least 1 touchdown in 18 consecutive games, a streak that tied an NCAA record. Defenses knew he was the first, second, and third option in Pitt's passing game, and yet they still couldn't stop him. Fitzgerald's impact wasn't just statistical. He elevated Pitt's program, bringing national attention to the Panthers and giving them a legitimate star to rally around. His calm demeanor, combined with his fierce competitiveness, made him both a fan favorite and a nightmare for opponents. Though his college career was brief, Larry Fitzgerald's time at Pittsburgh was unforgettable. He embodied excellence every time he stepped on the field, and his dominance in just 2 seasons ensures his place among the greatest receivers in college football history. Simply put, Fitzgerald wasn't just great, he was inevitable. Tim Brown's legacy in college football is cemented not only by his playmaking ability, but also by his place in history as the first wide receiver to ever win the Heisman Trophy. Playing for Notre Dame from 1984 to 1987, Brown became known as Touchdown Timmy, a player who could score from anywhere on the field, whether as a receiver, runner, or return specialist. His versatility and electrifying style made him one of the most dangerous players of the 1980s. Brown's career numbers tell part of the story: 137 receptions, 2,493 receiving yards, and 22 total touchdowns. But statistics alone don't capture his impact. At just 6 feet tall and 195 pounds, Brown didn't intimidate with size, but he terrified defenses with his acceleration, agility, and vision in the open field. Once he got the ball in his hands, he could weave through defenders with ease, turning routine plays into highlight reel moments. His senior year in 1987 was his masterpiece. Brown caught 39 passes for 846 yards and 3 touchdowns, added nearly 500 rushing yards and another TD on reverses, and was lethal as a kick and punt returner. He scored on both a kickoff return and a punt return that season, showcasing his unmatched versatility. For his efforts, Brown won the Heisman Trophy, becoming the first wide receiver and only the 7th non-quarterback or running back at the time to claim the award. Beyond the Heisman, Brown was a 2-time All-American, and his ability to contribute in multiple facets of the game made him invaluable to Notre Dame. Under head coach Lou Holtz, Brown became the ultimate chess piece, someone who could tilt the field in Notre Dame's favor regardless of the situation. Defenses had no answer for him, whether he was lined up wide, taking a handoff, or returning a kick. What makes Tim Brown's college career truly remarkable is how he redefined the role of the wide receiver. Before him, the position was rarely considered for the Heisman, but his dominance forced voters to recognize that a receiver could be the most valuable player in the country. Tim Brown didn't just win games for Notre Dame. He changed perceptions of what a wide receiver could mean to a team. His 1987 Heisman victory remains one of the most important milestones in the history of the sport. Few players in college football history captured the imagination of fans quite like Desmond Howard during his time at the University of Michigan. Known for his explosive speed, precise route running, and ability to deliver in clutch moments, Howard became one of the most iconic figures in the sport. His 1991 season in particular was legendary, culminating in him winning the Heisman Trophy and forever etching his name into college football lore. Howard began his Michigan career in 1989, but it wasn't until his junior season in 1990 that he truly broke out as one of the premier wide receivers in the nation. That year, he hauled in 63 receptions for 1,025 yards and 11 touchdowns, while also showcasing his versatility as a dangerous return man. His knack for creating big plays earned him national recognition and set the stage for what would become one of the greatest seasons ever by a wide receiver. In 1991, Howard took his game to another level. He recorded 62 receptions, 985 receiving yards, and 19 total touchdowns, but his impact extended far beyond the box score. His electrifying punt return against Ohio State, where he raced down the sideline and struck the now famous Heisman pose in the end zone, became one of the most iconic images in college football history. That moment not only secured his Heisman candidacy, but also symbolized his ability to rise to the occasion when the spotlight was brightest. Howard's versatility was unmatched. He was more than just a receiver. He was a weapon. Whether lined up wide, in the backfield, or on special teams, Howard forced defenses to account for him on every snap. He could beat defenders deep, take a short pass to the house, or change the momentum of a game with a single kick or punt return. For his efforts, Howard became just the second wide receiver to win the Heisman Trophy, joining Tim Brown. He was also a unanimous All-American and the winner of both the Walter Camp Award and Maxwell Award in 1991. Desmond Howard wasn't just a star at Michigan, he was a phenomenon. His Heisman season stands as one of the most memorable campaigns in college football history, and his highlight reel plays continue to live on decades later. Howard's impact on the game went beyond stats. He was a cultural icon and one of the faces. Calvin Johnson, famously nicknamed Megatron, is widely regarded as one of the most physically dominant wide receivers in the history of football, and his college career at Georgia Tech laid the foundation for that reputation. At 6 feet 5 inches with blazing speed, a massive catch radius, and the ability to outmuscle any defender, Johnson was a matchup nightmare from the moment he stepped onto the field in 2004. Even though he played in a run-first offense with inconsistent quarterback play, he still managed to put up legendary numbers and performances. As a freshman in 2004, Johnson immediately established himself as one of the best receivers in the ACC. He caught 48 passes for 837 yards and 7 touchdowns, earning the ACC Rookie of the Year honors. What made him stand out wasn't just the stats, but how effortlessly he dominated defensive backs. His combination of size and athleticism was almost unheard of at the college level. In 2005, his sophomore campaign, Johnson built on that success despite playing through nagging injuries. He finished with 54 receptions, 888 yards, and 6 touchdowns, earning first-team All-ACC honors for the second straight year. Even when he wasn't at 100%, his presence alone drew double teams and opened opportunities for the rest of Georgia Tech's offense. Johnson's junior season in 2006 cemented his place among the all-time greats. With 76 receptions for 1,202 yards and 15 touchdowns, he dominated every defense he faced. That year, he won the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver and was named a consensus All-American. His ability to make contested catches and elevate in big moments made him unstoppable. By the time he left for the NFL, Johnson had accumulated 178 receptions, 2,927 yards, and 28 touchdowns in just 3 seasons. What makes those numbers even more impressive is that they came in an offense that ranked near the bottom of the nation in passing during much of his career. He wasn't just great when given opportunities, he created them, often turning poor throws into highlight reel plays. Calvin Johnson redefined the wide receiver position at Georgia Tech. His dominance in college carried into the NFL, where he became a Hall of Famer, but his collegiate career remains legendary in its own right. Against all odds, limited passing offense, double coverage, and constant defensive focus, Megatron still put up all-time great numbers, cementing his place as one of the best to ever play the position. Randy Moss is one of the most electrifying athletes to ever play college football, and his dominance at Marshall in the mid-1990s remains the stuff of legend. Known for his freakish speed, leaping ability, and natural hands, Moss redefined what it meant to be a wide receiver. Though his college career lasted just 2 seasons at the Division I level, the numbers and highlights he produced were so staggering that he is forever etched among the all-time greats. Moss originally began his college journey at Notre Dame and later Florida State, but off-field issues kept him from ever suiting up for either school. When he landed at Marshall University, then a Division I AA program, now FCS, he wasted no time in becoming the most dominant player on the field. In 1996, his freshman year, Moss recorded 78 receptions, 1,709 yards, and 28 touchdowns, leading Marshall to the Division I AA National Championship. His 28 touchdowns set an NCAA record for a single season and immediately put him on the national radar. In 1997, with Marshall moving up to Division 1A, Moss proved that his dominance wasn't limited to a lower division. He posted 96 receptions, 1,820 yards, and 26 touchdowns, once again leading the nation in receiving touchdowns. His performances against higher-level competition showed that he was every bit as unstoppable as he had been the year before. That season, he was awarded the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver and finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting, a rare feat for a wideout. What made Moss so special was that he combined rare athletic tools with a natural feel for the game. At 6 feet 4 inches, he had the size to dominate in the red zone, but his track star speed allowed him to burn defenses deep. He could win contested catches, turn short passes into long gains, and force defenses to scheme their entire game plan around him. By the time he left Marshall, Moss had accumulated 168 receptions, 3,467 yards, and 54 touchdowns in just 2 seasons. His touchdown per game pace remains one of the most jaw-dropping feats in NCAA history. Randy Moss didn't just dominate, he overwhelmed defenses to a degree rarely seen before or since. His brief but brilliant career at Marshall showcased the raw talent that would later make him one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. Simply put, Moss was a once-in-a-generation player who made college football look easy. When it comes to wide receivers, Jerry Rice isn't just the gold standard in the NFL. His dominance began long before that, during his unforgettable college career at Mississippi Valley State University. Playing for a small school in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Rice turned heads nationwide with numbers so astonishing they looked more like video game stats than real life. Despite not playing at a traditional powerhouse, Rice redefined expectations for what a wide receiver could achieve in college football. Rice arrived at MVSU in 1981 and quickly established himself as a rising star. By his sophomore year, he was already setting records, but it was his junior and senior seasons that cemented his legendary status. In 1983, Rice caught 102 passes for 1,450 yards and 15 touchdowns, establishing himself as one of the most productive receivers in the country. But what he did in 1984 was nothing short of historic. That year, Rice posted an unprecedented 112 receptions for 1,845 yards and 27 touchdowns in just 11 games. He averaged more than 167 yards per game, shredding defenses week after week. His dominance wasn't limited to weaker competition either. Against Southern University, Rice had 17 receptions for 199 yards and 5 touchdowns. And against Louisiana Tech, he put up 17 receptions for 294 yards and 5 touchdowns. No matter the opponent, Rice was unstoppable. Over the course of his career at MVSU, Rice amassed 301 receptions, 4,693 yards, and 50 touchdowns, all astronomical totals that shattered NCAA records at the time. His consistency, precise route running, and unmatched work ethic separated him from every other receiver in the game. Even though he didn't have the exposure of players from major programs, NFL scouts couldn't ignore his production and talent. Rice finished 9th in the Heisman Trophy voting in 1984, a remarkable achievement for a player from a small school, and was a consensus All-American. His impact at Mississippi Valley State was so great that he helped put the program on the national map, turning a small SWAC school into must-watch football whenever he took the field. Jerry Rice's college career is a testament to dominance, perseverance, and perfection. Long before he became the NFL's all-time leader in virtually every receiving category, he was torching defenses at MVSU with performances that still stand as some of the greatest in college football history. For that reason, he rightfully takes the top spot as the greatest college wide receiver of all time. These 10 wide receivers weren't just great, they were game changers who defined eras of college football. Did your favorite make the list? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into football's greatest legends.